Hmm. Okay, did we get it now? Did we get it now? We got it. Oh my goodness, I'm messaging Mark. He's upstairs using the bathroom. Got it. Now a lot of my stream is going to be me probably complaining that I couldn't get it. I'm going to like type into the chat so you guys know. Ignore the silence. There's a lag. Let's see how long it actually takes for that to pop up for you guys. I just barely got home groceries. Guys, YouTube has been such a pain lately. It has been such a pain in the butt. Like, I'm to the point where we need to figure, like, we'll stay on YouTube, but we need to figure out a better way to do this because YouTube has just been killing us with all of their weirdness. Let me see. There's Mr. Moore. I think I got it, but they got so much lag from where it was playing here that, like...
Turn the quality down and pause it.
No, well, that's not the problem. I'm saying they got so much lag from where I started playing here that it's like a minute behind somehow.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's just the way that you set up the stream. When you set it up, you have to set up the
Well, tell me later.
The latency lower, yeah.
All right, guys.
All right.
Very stressful, but I think that we got it now. Yeah, see, it's like we have like a minute lag.
That's okay.
But yeah, we're here. We are feeling a little bit better. We were sick last week. That's why we didn't stream. And for those...
I apologize in advance for the audio. We officially need a new mic, so
yeah,
we're going off webcam audio today.
So for those who are joining us for the very first time, normally we hang out for the first 10 minutes of every video, but because there were tech difficulties this morning, we are probably going to only have a little bit of time to share news and announcements with you guys. First bit of news, I have contacts for the first time in my life, since I know someone will end up pointing it out, and I'm slowly adjusting to them. So... yeah, you might see me without glasses more frequently. All right, so on to actual news. This Sunday, we are going to be in Pittsburgh at Bitchcraft Fair. Oh, the cat's attacking the dog. We're going to be in Pittsburgh speaking at Bitchcraft Fair. And on top of hanging out, doing a live workshop, and an in-person Q&A, we are also going to be giving away 2 Handmade Alpha Academy scholarships to 2 random lucky alphas who attend. So super duper exciting. Make sure that you go to bitchcraftfair.com to grab tickets and use the coupon code HowlingMoon, no spaces, to get 20% off. And we will be hanging out in Pittsburgh pretty much all weekend, but at secret locations because we want to have fun safely. We want to have fun safely. So, let's see.
And most of you are trustworthy, but just remember, any weirdo can watch our live stream.
That's true. We have a lot of those. Lots and lots. Other bit of news, we have some Black Friday cheat sheets available for you. Every year I release a Black Friday survival guide, but this year there's a lot of extra pages, a lot of extra goodies in that. It is located down below. If you expand out the video description, you'll find our ticket link for Bitchcraft Fair and the link to grab our Black Friday survival guide. And signing up for that survival guide will not put you on our email list twice. However, if you ever do find that you are receiving our emails twice, please email me and let me know. That way we can make sure that you are removed from the list, because I know that sometimes, especially if you join Handmade Alpha Academy, but then you like sign up for a freebie, even though most Handmade Alpha Academy students get the freebies anyway. They go into the resource guide, but sometimes they see like, you know, something posted on Facebook about one and they don't know to look in the resource guide, and then they sign up for it and then they end up on the list again, and then they unsubscribe themselves from the Handmade Alpha Academy student list. And then when I send out like stuff that is just for students, they don't get those emails. So I have to go back in and manually add them. So just reply to an email if you get a double subscribe, and we'll take care of you. Other than that, guys, I think that is it for our news and announcements for this week. So we are going to be talking about your personal life versus your business life. And this topic was actually brought to us by Amber Marie, which is one of our favorite Handmade Alpha Academy students. She's the one who does the amazing pet portraits.
We used to get this question pretty often, like in our early days of live streaming, but it's been a while since anybody's asked anything about
personal life
stuff.
Right. And what Amber basically asked, I did a small live stream in our Handmade Alpha Facebook community group on, what day did I do that? I can't remember, like 2 days ago, I believe, Wednesday. And I asked for ideas, what some of the alphas wanted to talk about this week. And Amber said that she's getting married. And she wants to know how much of her personal story and her personal life should she share on social media with her audience, because it's because of her customers that she's able to go buy a house, that she's able to get married and start her awesome, like, super cool grown-up life married with a house. And she wants to share that with her audience, but she's afraid that she might be sharing too much. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And keep in mind, this is like my big disclaimer for this video. There are no like black and white guidelines on how much you should share with your audience. There is no rule book for it. So what we're going to offer to you is what we know to personally be a decent amount of sharing for your we'll say most industries. However, it's going to change from industry to industry, because if you sell,
sure.
We've got some alphas who sell, like, for example, nipple jewelry. If they probably shouldn't share photos of their kids, like you have to be smart about your industry. We have
know your customer and the potential for how they're going to be.
Right. We have alphas who create jewelry out of the ashes of dead loved ones, and maybe you shouldn't post that you just bought a new car. You know what I mean? So you have to be intelligent about your industry. But if you sell like jewelry, if you sell crocheted hats, if you sell
clothing, home decor,
it's
normal run-of-the-mill stuff that you could just go and buy in a store, but the handmade version of it, that kind of stuff.
Basically, as long as there's no like really deeply rooted like emotional like negative emotion tied to it, or even that is hard, because we could say like weddings have a strong emotion tied to them. So I think that if you are in an industry where this doesn't apply, I'm going to assume that you already know that you're in an industry that wouldn't apply. So why be normal? LOL, no worries, I won't. Yeah. And you are exactly who I had in mind. I just didn't want to say your business name out loud without, permission. So let's talk a little bit about sharing. It's story time now. For my business and my personal experience, speaking as a jewelry designer in a very whimsical fantasy bookworm industry, that's about where I would consider myself.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, because I make, for those who don't know, here, I'm going to grab one of these off the wall here.
Good luck.
Oh, I didn't realize that it was like clamped in. There we go.
So the cats can't get it.
I make skeleton key necklaces. This one is not in my shop, so please don't try to buy it. So
that one's mine.
That one's his, yeah. So basically, let me try to clip it back up here. There we go. I did it. Yay. They're clipped to the wall. With my industry, it's okay for me to share with my audience. I feel like they really love what my brand is all about, what it represents, the lifestyle that it represents to them. And they look at me as an authority figure of my industry. And a lot of them buy from me because they envy the lifestyle that I exhibit on my social media accounts that are catered to them. We're not talking about like my Starla accounts and my Handmade Alphas accounts. We're talking about my Art by Starla accounts, where I talk more about like the geeky things that I'm into, like Game of Thrones and, the books that I read and the movies that I watch and things like that. So they appreciate getting little glimpses of that lifestyle. And I always make sure that I cater the pieces that I pull from my life. I pick very specific pieces that are well catered to my business. So for example, if I were to post a photo on my Art by Starla Moore social media accounts today, and I wanted it to be a personal photo, I might share a photo of, we'll say, I shared a photo of my dogs wearing their little Game of Thrones ugly Christmas sweaters. And that would be a personal photo that ties into my overall brand. It gives them a bit of a lifestyle that they aspire to have. The photo is very clean and pretty and, well choreographed, and it appeals to their interests. So that's a little glimpse into my personal life that they might enjoy. For you guys, for the alphas, if you follow me on Instagram, you can see a lot of great examples. My Instagram handle is Starla, the letter K, Moore. I'll type it in, Starla K, Moore. For Instagram, what I might post is, we'll say we're going to Pittsburgh, this Sunday, and it's going to be me, Mark, and Nate having a lot of fun in Pittsburgh, meeting alphas and things like that. Those are glimpses of my personal life that I might choose to share with you guys because they're relevant to you. You're seeing a business lifestyle that you can aspire to have. It's motivating, and usually, I'll put in a caption that has some inner message or, something inspirational to go along with it. But at the same time, something else I posted like a few days ago, I talked about how I used to be a preschool teacher. And on my Instagram account, I've posted, let me pull up the photo, and you guys can pull it up and look at it if you want to read it. I posted this photo, can you see it? Of a basket of Halloween books that I created for my daughter. And I talked about how I used to be a preschool teacher and the things that I learned, the most important things that I learned being in early childhood education, the most important things that I took from it for, what I do today, which is coaching, and also being a mother. And I got so many comments on that post between Facebook and my Instagram account of people saying, wow, what a great idea. I wish I would have done this when I had kids or when my kids were little. And that post got a ton of engagement. And that was just me being authentic and posting something motivating that kind of tied into my brand. So when it comes to things like celebrations and getting married, and even, a lot of people don't want to post photos of their kids, but if you want to maybe like announce that you're having like a baby, and you could even just post like a picture of their like empty bassinet and saying, oh, we're expecting to bring a little bundle of joy into the world in October or something like that. Those are all fine. And those are going to get your audience really excited. They're going to help your audience connect with you in a way that is authentic and real that they can relate to. And it's going to show a little bit of almost humanity and vulnerability. So where does this go wrong? I personally feel that this goes wrong when a business only shares content like this. When a business gets on their Instagram account for their business and all they post are hundreds of like sexy selfies, where all their pictures are just sexy selfies, and
the business becomes more about them than about the business.
Exactly. So, or they have a million pictures of their dog, or they have a million pictures of their kids. And those photos have nothing to do with the product that they're selling.
When you go to someone's business page and you see it, you should immediately know that it's a business page and not be confused as to whether or not it is.
Right. A majority of the photos need to be related to your business or they need to be branded so that when someone sees it, even if it doesn't have a photo of your product, somebody can look at it and say, I know that this came from this business. Similar to how Tiffany & Co. could post a photo of, we'll say like a Christmas scene, and everything is branded in Tiffany blue and there's snow and glitter, and there might not necessarily be any jewelry on that photo, but you see that Tiffany blue and you know, okay, this is probably a Tiffany & Co. ad. So that's kind of my stance on it, is make sure that when you're giving little elements of your life, you're sprinkling them in more like seasoning into your feeds, into your Instagram, into your social media, and you're not oversaturating the overall focus of these platforms. Because if you saturate that overall focus, people who are popping onto your Instagram feed for the very first time and they look at that profile, exactly what he said, they're not going to know what your brand is about. All they're going to see are a bunch of selfies and a bunch of, maybe a bunch of photos of your kids, or a bunch of photos of, or food. Maybe you have a million photos of just plates of food.
Trust me, people don't care.
And
especially when it comes to a business page.
Right. I mean, unless you're selling something like in a fitness industry, it might be okay to do things.
Well, if you want to do like an occasional lifestyle photo, like what we talk about pretty frequently, that's fine. One every once in a while, but don't make that the only content that you post.
And I mean, I'm a selfie girl, guys. I am guilty. I post
Yeah.
I post a lot of selfies on my Instagram. But I feel like when it comes to my industry, where literally with the alphas, what I'm selling is me and my presence. Yeah. I'm not selling an item. I'm selling myself as a coach. So it's a little bit different per industry. And a lot of the times I do that so that I can connect with my audience. A lot of people will say, oh, I love your eyeliner. What brand do you buy? Oh, this, I love your shirt. Where'd you get it? And things like that help me to connect with my audience because they are there for me. But I can't do that on my jewelry page, where what I'm selling is a physical product that is tied to a very specific message and a very specific type of person. Now, what I could do is say I was going to the Renaissance Festival, and I was all dressed up, and I had one of my keys on, and, I had like a very fantasy look, and I posted a selfie then. Or maybe once every few months I post a selfie and I say, hey, this is me, meet the artist. My name is Starla Moore, and I make these keys, and, just in case you guys didn't know what I look like, here I am. That's okay. So I don't want you to think that you should never post pictures of yourself on your business. In fact, I encourage you to post photos of yourself for your business. That helps people see you as a human being, see you as a person, and be able to connect with you. But you need to make sure that it's not the overwhelming majority of your feed, because there are so many businesses that I follow where a majority of their Instagram feed is literally just themselves. And there's some brands that I follow that I don't know what they sell because they never post what they sell. They're always posting their personal life. They're always posting photos of their pets or their food or their face. So just be intelligent be intelligent about the things that you post. So let's talk a little bit, and this is where we're going to get into the negative side of things. So I don't want to upset anybody on this, but this is a topic that I've wanted to cover forever, and I've been afraid to do it. This is going to be a little tough love session because I know for a fact that some of you do this. Because
and if you don't take this as a slam piece against you. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Just don't do it anymore.
And I'm not thinking of anybody in particular when I cover this. I have no one in mind.
No, I don't either. I can't think of anybody. I know that it's happened. I've seen it happen, but I can't think of anybody off the top of my head.
So we're not picking on anybody if you do this. But what I notice a lot in the handmade industry in particular when it comes to marketing is that there are a lot of businesses who will have a great product, great photos. They will be doing almost everything right in terms of, the aesthetics. But they will have maybe a Facebook group for their business or a Facebook page. And they will post in their group. And they will say, my water bill is due tomorrow. My rent is due tomorrow. My dog needs to go to the vet this week. I'm going to not be able to make my car payment tomorrow if I don't make a sale right now. Please, somebody buy something. Here's a coupon code. I'll give you something free. Please,
don't do that.
somebody buy something in the next 24 hours. I promise I'll make it worth it. Please, somebody help me out. I see that happen so much. And here's why it's wrong, okay? As a business owner, your job is to solve a problem for a very specific type of person. And no matter what you sell, your product solves a problem. And a lot of people like to argue that every single product solves a problem. I don't care what
you can't argue that.
And even if it's something like a trinket, every product solves a problem. It doesn't need to be a catastrophic problem. It doesn't need to be a problem like, you're curing
Don't think of the word problem as something that's like
a disaster.
It's not life impacting.
Yes.
The problem can be non-life impacting.
Exactly. I have a lot of people who say, what problem does jewelry solve? I just bought this pendant from a business or an Etsy shop called Chrysalis Studios. And my problem was that I needed a really nice upscale looking pendant to wear to Bitchcraft. That was my problem. I solved that problem. So every product solves a problem. And when you take your business and you take your product and you put it out to the world and you say to your potential customers, please buy this, my water bill is due. What you are doing is you are not saying, I want to solve your problems. You are looking at your customers and you are saying to them, please buy this so you can solve my problems. No one wants to solve your problems. And they might do it to pity you. They might do it once or twice. But if you run your entire business model off of, I need this, I don't have this, you know what, someone
are going to get sick of your shit real quick.
And somebody's going to think, and they might never say it to you, but when I see it, what I think to myself is, maybe you shouldn't be sitting home making jewelry and trying to sell on Etsy.
You should go out and get a job.
Maybe you should get a job.
If you're not at a point where you're stable enough to quit a job and run your business full time, then you shouldn't be quitting your job and running your business full time. Quitting your like normal life 9-to-5 job does not immediately make your business jump up in funds.
Nope.
That's not. It's going to be progressive, and you're going to have to moonlight with your business with whatever job you have until you're at a point where you can sufficiently care for yourself.
And it took 5 years before we were sustainable, guys.
Yes. I was in the military. The whole time I was in the military is when she was running her business.
Yeah, 5 years. I was 19 when I started selling on Etsy. And I guess that math doesn't add up, does it? 5 years? No, my first shop when I was selling hemp and stuff. So yeah, 5 years. Not Art by Starla Moore is not 5 years old. Art by Starla Moore is 6 years old. Well, anyway, I sold other stuff on Etsy before that's why my business is Art by Starla Moore. I used to sell tattoo designs before I started making jewelry, but that's besides the point. Basically, guys, you have to keep the message positive. People do not want to get on board with your brand and follow you religiously unless you are a person that they like and can connect with. So by showing all these little elements of your life and personality and the things that you enjoy and value, someone can connect with you because they can say, wow, I like that book too. Wow, I love, Game of Thrones too. Wow, you're a mom, I'm a mom too. Oh, cool, you have a Chihuahua, I have a Chihuahua too. Or I love Chihuahuas. Or I want to get a Chihuahua. Tell me about your Chihuahua. There's so many little ways that you can connect with them. But the way that you shouldn't connect with them is by asking anything of them. They do not care about you. Sorry, I thought my phone was ringing.
Yeah, that was weird.
They do not care about you. They love, to get on there and hype you up in the comments, but your fans and your audience care about you about half as much as you care about them, if not that. I would say maybe like 25%. And that hurts, but they shouldn't have to, because you're a business. And how many businesses out there do you really invest like all your heart and soul into following? 100%, you're just game for every single thing that they say. Probably not many. Maybe the alphas, hopefully. But when it comes to like a brand that you shop from, do you have a brand in mind that you follow religiously and you just agree with everything that they say? Because I don't. So as many little points of contact as that you can give them where they can connect, where they can relate to, where they can feel some type of connection to you, those are okay. Are all okay. Just make sure that you're sprinkling them in and you aren't letting it be the overwhelming majority of your feed. And never ask your customers to solve your problems for you.
Yeah, and Amber said, I also get uncomfortable when businesses post about their fibro, migraines, etc., etc. Yeah, just in general, complaining isn't something that you should do. Like, like bills and stuff is one thing, but just don't complain.
Positive, like Paula Haas, for example, from Clean and Dirty. She has a couple, we won't go into the details. She posts them on her social media, so I'm sure she wouldn't care. But she has a few, you know, mental health things that she likes to really talk about with her business and how she's overcome them. But she does it in a positive way.
Yeah.
She talks about it like, hey, you know what? I have this, I've had these problems in the past, but I am a kick-ass business owner and an awesome mom, and sometimes I have bad days, and I'm sure you have bad days too, and that's okay because we're going to get through this together, and look at everything that I can still do despite the fact that I have these issues.
And you can
That's
turn,
great!
You can turn literally anything into a positive post that you were about to post negative. Like, think about it like you're on the way to get coffee in the morning before you pack orders in the middle of the day, and you had to wait like 45 minutes in line or something ridiculous. You can take that, and instead of saying, ugh, had to wait 45 minutes for coffee in some sort of lifestyle post, you can say, you know, take a picture of the coffee and the product, had to wait a little longer than usual, smiley face, but it's worth it because now I'm blah, blah, blah. Like, you can turn anything into a positive situation, if it's like, regardless of what it is.
And, you know, guys, you know, here's something I was guilty of when I was on social media. I would say like up until like maybe the last 3 years, I was a negative Nancy on social media. I did Starla rants, and I would post these like huge rants on Facebook, and I would, anything that like ticked me off, anything that made me mad, I would post a big rant about it. And about 3 years ago, I made a conscious decision, which is very hard. It's hard to make a conscious decision to change a behavioral pattern and stick to it, no matter how angry you get. Because there are times that I want to get on social media and bitch. I'll be honest. There are times that I want to get on there and I want to express that something makes me angry. And that's an impulsive thing that we do. But I started to think about it, and I thought, how nice would Facebook be if all of the posts that you see weren't driven by outrage? It's really easy to get outraged on social media, and that's why you see clickbaity titles on ads. That's why you see things like, you know, animal abuse photos being shared. That's exactly why those photos spread the way that they do. Is it's a lot easier to spike an emotion from outrage than it is from something positive. And those outrageous, depressing, shocking stories get shared more than anything else. And I decided for myself, you know, what if social media wasn't about outrage? What if, you know, everybody on social media one day decided to stop posting negative crap and all these terrible photos and all these terrible stories, and they only posted uplifting, positive things, or they didn't post at all? So I made that conscious decision about 3 years ago. I do not post anything negative on social media ever. And I mean, I'll say like I'm sick or something, but I always add something positive, like, you know, oh, I'm not feeling good, but here like a few days ago, I drew a really cool spooky wolf photo. I said, hey, you know, I'm sick, but I took the time to draw this really cool photo for Halloween. I feel like my life has gotten so much more positive since I stopped, and I'm talking about personal social media too, not just your business one, but your personal. Things have gotten so much better for me since I stopped posting negative things on social media, and since I stopped commenting on things that I found to be negative. For example, we'll say like contrasting political beliefs, contrasting religious beliefs, contrasting moral beliefs, contrasting, we'll say even beliefs on how to raise kids. You know, these things are meant to start arguments. That's why they exist. And there are a lot of people out there who love to argue. When I see things like that on social media, even if I disagree, I just look at them and I'm just like, these silly people. So they're, yeah. So, and even if I think
it is better once you stop, though. I'm definitely one of those people that likes to argue, and I haven't done it in years. And I don't even like getting on Facebook anymore, because it's just one of those things where it's just non-stop arguments and political posts and religious posts, and it's just, ugh.
And you still do it. Like, he has this one friend, we won't say.
Oh, I have one guy I screw with because he's just he's so far to one side of the spectrum that he's a bit dumb.
But even I'll see him commenting on this guy's stuff because this guy's on my friends list too.
And I do it to screw with him. I don't ever do it seriously.
But I'll be like, why do you even waste energy? Like, why waste your positive energy, all the happiness that you could be having in this moment? Why waste your time and energy? Because here's the thing.
Because it's
funny. If you're arguing with somebody on social media, no matter what you say to them, they will never, ever, ever in a million years say, wow, you make a great argument.
Even if they're wrong. Because they're not going to admit it to their 300 or 400 or 500 friends that they have on their friends list that they were, oh yeah, I'm wrong. If they usually you know that it's they're conceding an argument when they just delete the post.
Yeah.
That's usually the end of it. They know they've said something stupid, they've gone too far, and they delete the post. All right.
But
I'm what you would call a shit poster, and I like to mess with people if they say something really stupid online. I don't ever argue seriously though.
But there's a lot of people. That's kind of the culture now.
Mm-hmm.
But can you imagine a world on social media where it didn't occur? And I want to contribute to happy feelings. I want to contribute.
For sure.
I want to contribute to motivation. And he doesn't add people like if you
guys. I don't do business. I'm hardly ever on Facebook. I'm on there for memes.
Yeah, if you guys ever add him on Facebook, he won't add you back because he doesn't add. And part of it's because he was in the military, and there's a little bit of we can't really go into it, but there's a reason that he doesn't add you if you feel like offended. He doesn't add anybody.
It's not because I don't like you.
He only adds people he knows.
I don't post anything that you want to see anyway. So
right.
Don't worry about it.
But what, and I do add, alphas who add me because I really don't post anything. I don't post anything that isn't motivational, that isn't true to my identity, and that I don't, want the world to see or know about. And I feel like that's how social media should be, be positive every single day and spread positivity and don't waste your time engaging in things that are literally just time suckers. So those are my messages for the day. Let's go ahead and scroll through and then open the floor to questions.
Got a couple other goobers. There really weren't any questions. There were a couple of questions right at the beginning.
Well, I want to scroll up a little bit and see some of the... Okay. This needs to be said. Nobody likes beggars.
No, nobody likes beggars. That's like if you have a really close friend of yours that comes to you like once a week and asks for like $10. Hey, can I bum $10? Hey, can I get $5 to go get a pack of cigarettes? Hey, can I get $10 to go get a case of beer? Like, we've all known, even if it's not one of our friends, we've known somebody like that. And that is like the most you immediately lose respect for that person. Like, why?
Yeah, and it's like, you don't need that. You don't need the cigarette.
You need $5. Your life is so bad that you're addicted to something so bad that you're going to ask me like once a week for $5. No.
Yeah, and maybe that's just us. Maybe you don't have anybody in your life.
Yeah, maybe you've never known somebody.
We have friends who are like that though, because
we used to. We don't anymore.
That's true, but you guys got to consider like I'm 27, he's 28, and like a few years ago, all we hung out with were college kids and high school kids. So it was like that was just the culture. Hey man, I'm bum a cigarette. Hey man, you bum a light. Can I bum a light, man? Like
but nobody likes a bum. That's why you're called a bum. Anyway.
And it was always, no man, we don't smoke, man.
Alright, anyway, the only question that I had actually seen throughout I've been watching the chat is before we even started. He said, I know you haven't started yet, but I have a question for you.
Hi, Chris.
How can I run a sale on Etsy where if someone purchases 3 items, they get one specific item free?
You can't do a BOGO sale on Etsy. But what you could do is have it in your... if you're selecting the item for them, you could do it that way, but you really can't do a BOGO sale on Etsy, unfortunately, unless you put like one of the products is a freebie and you add that into one of your existing listings. We don't really have a lot of freedom to do things like that on Etsy, unfortunately. So you would have to probably sell on your own website to be able to offer anything like that. So sorry about that, Chris. All right, guys. Go ahead and load your questions in. This was kind of a quick topic today. If there's anything that I didn't cover in terms of this, or if you have any questions about what we talked about today, I know I was a little bit scatterbrained. I want to disclose 2 reasons why I'm scatterbrained. Reason number 1 that I'm scatterbrained today is we're planning for Bitchcraft, and I am so we're about to leave tomorrow. We leave tomorrow, so.
Excuse me.
Reason number 2, actually there's 3 reasons. Reason number 2 that I'm scatterbrained is that my daughter's home because they didn't have school today and she's being very loud upstairs and I keep hearing her. Reason number 3 is that for the first time I'm wearing contacts in my entire life, and every time I blink I feel like my vision gets cloudy. So I'm like trying to adjust to them and get used to them. And my doctor told me that I just need to wear them and stick it out. So hopefully our stream isn't distracting.
Let's see.
Because people like to complain about our streams being distracting when we do anything weird.
A couple of people agreeing with me. A few other shit posters out there. Nice to meet you. I don't know about if I do that to my grandpa, though. That's pretty rough. I don't know. Maybe sometimes it's funny.
I mess with my mom, guys, so bad, and she loves it. So while you guys are typing your questions in, I got her a card from Joker Greetings. You guys, if you like messing with like family, you gotta go to Joker Greetings. They are cards that play music when you open them, but then the music doesn't stop, like no matter how much you close them. And mine, it said, it was for Mother's Day, and it said, "I'll always be your little baby." And you open it, and the card started crying. And my mom was like, "Aw, I remember when you used to sound like that." And she closed it, and it wouldn't stop. And she was just freaking out. So she took the whole card and put it outside on the porch. And she closed the window. And then we heard cop sirens like a few minutes later outside because there's just a baby screaming. So she brings the card inside. And she asked me, like, "How do I turn it off?" And I said, "You have to break it. You have to rip it open and break it and deactivate the thing." So like 3 hours after I gave her this card, she finally rips it open and goes to deactivate it. And when you rip the card open, it's full of glitter. It just got everywhere. So that's how I mess with my mom. All right, do we have questions now?
Yes, we do. We
Great.
have. Does Etsy take care of taxes and fees and stuff for the stuff you sell? No.
No, you have to account for your taxes and fees. You're a business. You have to treat it like a business. You have to be responsible and get yourself an accountant and take care of that. I recommend Block Advisors. A lot of people are like, "You're a business. Don't do H&R Block." Block Advisors is not H&R Block. It's owned by H&R Block, but it is meant for small businesses. And we have a fantastic accountant. So H&R Block, Block Advisors.
So should I not even mention that I had debilitating chronic pain, hard to put a positive spin on it? No, you really probably shouldn't talk about it. I have degenerative disc disease, but I don't talk about that a whole lot.
He can't tie his shoes some days, but
No.
It's not that you shouldn't mention it, but does it?
It shouldn't be like any sort of focus put into that. If you have like a rough day and you need to like put a positive spin on something, I guess you could post about it, but it's like, what is the necessity in posting about it?
Yeah, okay, so here's my question.
Unless you're using it as an excuse to not work.
Here's my question for you. And I want you to actually answer in the comments for me. Why do you feel that, and there might be a reason. So I'm not asking you to,
justify your actions.
Right.
Or you don't have to do that.
But I'm not saying that there isn't a reason, but I'm saying, what product do you make that would require you to post anything negative about having chronic pain? What reason do you have to share that with your audience? And let me know in the comments. Give me like top 3 reasons why it would be necessary to share that you are that you have chronic pain with your audience that is not positive. Because I really don't think that there is one. You can put a positive spin on anything. Anything. You can say, "I have chronic pain, but I am still here making amazing things for you guys. Yes, you know what? It sucks so bad. And if for anybody who else feels like this and who has chronic pain, I understand where you're coming from and I relate with you, but look what I was able to build. Look what I'm able to do. And I hope that my story inspires you to do what I do. And I hope that, my message will inspire you to do something that you were maybe afraid to do. And it's okay to have bad days." There is positive. No matter what your problem is, there is positive. We don't really talk a lot about Mark, but he has degenerative disc disease, and there are days...
It is literally debilitating. There are days that I can't hardly walk.
And we don't talk about that. There are days when he can't bend down. There are days when he can't pick things up off the floor.
Yeah, at the very most, we'll say, like, if we're doing a lot like this, if we're doing a live stream or something like that, I'll be like, "Yeah, I could do this because my back hurts," and that's
But
that's like the end of it. We don't make a thing out of it.
And
especially if it's chronic, then it's something you're going to experience continuously. So at that point, it's like, do you post about it continuously? Is it something that you just bring up every now and again? I don't know. It's usually just best not to talk about. It's really nobody's business but your own.
And you can be vulnerable. I mean, you could do a post about it, but don't make it negative. There is positive to pull from every situation. There's always a silver lining. Sure. Always.
Let's see.
I mean, we could have a day where we just talk about our sad stuff, like on here, and we could, spend a day talking about everything negative that's gone on in my life too. I was in an abusive relationship for 6 years. I've got a lot of psychological issues that I have not sorted out yet. But you guys don't know. You guys didn't know that. You guys didn't know any of that, because those aren't things that. It's not necessary. It's not essential to my brand. I'm still here. I'm still kicking ass. I'm still helping you guys. I'm here every Friday, other than last Friday because we were deathly sick. But
yeah.
there's no reason. There's no reason for me to share it with you unless.
Most of the time, if there's something really screwy going on with us, you just won't hear from us when you're supposed to.
The only thing screwy that happens to us is we get sick every once in a while, and
because we have a kid in 2nd grade,
she brings home the
ick. That's just what it is.
How often should we post personal things? I don't do it enough.
Your call.
I would say, if you post every single day on social media, like we'll say that you make one post a day on Instagram, I would say once every 2 weeks or maybe once a week would be okay for you to post something personal, as long as it is positive and ties into your brand. And for the person who we called out a few minutes ago, I hope we didn't upset you. Like,
it wasn't. That wasn't the purpose of that. It was a general education. If you may make products for that. There are people that make products for certain chronic pain conditions.
Yeah.
Sorry, stuff lagged up there for a minute. I don't know what that was about.
Like, I really hope that, like, this is the stuff that nobody wants to talk about because they're afraid that they're going to hurt somebody's feelings. But if I didn't talk about it and I didn't tell you guys who might be making these mistakes that you're literally alienating your entire audience and probably, setting yourself up for failure, who's going to tell you?
Yeah, that should be a little bit of a disclaimer, I think, when it comes to this. Like, we understand that some of these can be kind of sensitive topics, like talking about people that ask for money or talking about people that beg for sales. But the thing is, like, our goal here isn't to offend anybody. Our goal is to educate you. So if you're offended by any of this, just understand that is entirely your perspective, and it wasn't meant to be taken
we could just...
If you're offended because you want to be offended.
We could just, blow smoke and say, yeah, guys, do whatever you want. I'm sure it'll work out for you.
Because then you would succeed so well, and then we would do so well because of that, right? No. So let's try to let's be positive. Just understand that all we care about is helping you. We're on here literally every Friday.
And if you have a contrasting view where you say, like, all you post is negative stuff on social media and you have a phenomenal business, please let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Prove us wrong. Prove us. That's my only ask, is that if you disagree with, and this is for replay people too, because the replay people are always savage.
Yeah, we got a lot of keyboard warriors.
If you disagree with what I say, that is absolutely fine.
Prove it.
I want you to disagree with what I say. Disagree. Prove me wrong. Source your proof. That's all I ask. If you want to prove me wrong, I will listen and I will change my views. I do it all the time. Source your proof, though, because I need to see evidence. Because in my experience, as a 6-figure seller on Etsy, and as someone who has been selling on Etsy for a very long time, for someone who has had multiple businesses, both that have succeeded and failed, and for somebody who runs a very, very large coaching business, I can tell you that I have never seen one of our successful 6-figure students, out of over 400 students, I've never seen one who can run a business model on negativity and succeed. It has not happened yet. So if it's happening for you, I would like to see your social media accounts. But otherwise, if you cannot source your proof, and this is coming out of opinion, I just don't think that we're the channel for you. I mean, that's just how it is.
Anyway.
I'm more serious without my glasses on. I look intense.
Angry. Amber Marie.
Yes, Amber.
Would you recommend an
Amber.
even more intimate VIP group? Was thinking of something sort of house group blog thing, but for anyone who wants to see everything.
Yeah, no, only if it's a separate entity from your brand. One thing that we're talking about doing, and guys, let me know if this is an idea. Please type it in the chat. We're thinking about doing a Patreon where we do something similar, but it kind of aligns with business. We're thinking about doing like more one-on-one shop critiques via Patreon and things like that, just because we don't have time to do it on YouTube. And you could like pledge like $5 a month to have access to things like that. But yeah, I don't think you need a private group. I feel like the desire to share like everything that's going on in your life is out of maybe excitement that you feel in your heart and out of a lack of people in your real surrounding life who will want to hear about, what's going on in your life. And I felt that too, because I don't have a lot of family, especially when we were in California. I had nobody that I could relate to. So I posted it all on social media, just trying to, get, I wanted that little dopamine rush. Anytime you get a like, anytime you get a comment, anytime you get like a you go girl, you feel good inside. But I think that what is even more powerful is if you can nurse yourself off of the need to have that social validation. And that's what I've done, is I've kind of nursed myself off of the need to have social validation for the things that I do and my accomplishments. And it's not a bad thing to post your accomplishments, but if you need to create a separate group that completely revolves around it, where you're taking time away from your actual brand to create a group where you're posting every day about your personal life.
You need to find other ways to get self-gratification.
Yeah, that, and I feel like that time could be better used for things that will turn a profit. You know what I mean? Like if you want to do that, start a Patreon.
That's one of those things. You could either expand with business or you could expand with your personal life. Like if you just want to run the one business and you're satisfied with how the business is running, but you're not feeling like gratified enough, find a hobby. Start another business. Try to expand the business that you've got. But I mean, there's so many other ways that you can gratify yourself other than just trying to leech it from a system.
Or you could even do like a weekly like Facebook style live session in your group, where maybe like for you, Amber, maybe you're drawing live and people are asking questions live, and it gives you an opportunity to share. That way you're doing something that relates to your brand, but at the same time you're doing, you're talking about your personal life. Kind of like how we sprinkle personal things into Q&As. We sprinkle it in.
We've done it a few times in this stream.
So that would be my advice, though. I feel like my big thing is I think like a growing business owner. Everything that I do needs to have like a purpose. Yeah, a purpose that directly relates back to growth, helping people, or growing my business, making more money. So that's what your goal should be, is making more money. And a lot of people really hate that. They're like, "Oh, Starla, you're making money as a coach," and I'm like,
what's the point of starting a business?
I'm like, sweetheart.
You can want to make more money and also help more people. Those go one and the same, especially in a business like this.
My favorite is when people are like, if you're so successful on Etsy, why did you become a coach too? And I'm like, oh, so if your boss offered you a raise, you'd be like, no, I make enough. Thanks. I make enough. Like, no.
Or if another company offered you a significantly greater source of funds.
I do both.
Also, you work less. Also, you get a whole bunch of time off. And you're your own boss. And like, why the hell wouldn't we want to be coaches?
I became a coach because the Alphas asked me to. They said that you guys asked me to coach you one-on-one, and I said I don't have really the time to coach.
One-on-one is impossible.
I'm like, but what I can do is create like a course with everything that I would teach you one-on-one, and then if you have specific questions as you go along it, you can message me. But that course is not open right now, so it doesn't matter. We only open that twice a year, unless you get a private invitation. But anyway, okay.
All right, yeah, we're getting way behind. I know you read and study a lot about all this. Have you found that it's true for everyone that it's easier to spread negative stuff than positive?
Not for everybody. There's no.
I think they're talking more about the impact, like it's easier for that to. I mean, the answer to that specifically is yes. If you think about like your memories from your childhood. It's easier for you to recall specific events about
Traumatic
negative,
events.
yeah, about negative things that have happened than it is about positive things. And it's the same way with your day to day.
And not only that, so say that you post a photo on social media, and I'm sure this has happened to everybody, but say that you post a photo, or, you know, for us, I'll post like a video here on YouTube, and we'll get like hundreds of positive comments, sometimes thousands of positive comments of people who just absolutely love us and are hyping us up. And then we'll get one negative comment. Oh, Starla, I hate your hair. Oh, Starla, you look like a big toe. I don't know. But you know what comment I remember is not all the thousands of positive ones. I remember the one negative one. Always. It never fails. And that's probably happened to you guys, right? You've ever posted something and you got like one crappy comment on social media.
That's 100% true. Like, imagine like you're getting ready to head home from work, and you're scrolling through Facebook, and you scroll past somebody's post about them having a baby, and then the next thing you see is like the first time you saw the post about the Amazon rainforest burning down. You get home, what's the first thing you're going to talk to your spouse about? Holy shit, did you see that the rainforest was burning down?
And here's another thing.
That's just how it is.
Here's another thing about that is that the human attention span is very short, and you'll notice that like isn't today like Raid Area 51 Day? Isn't that today?
It is, and there's a whole bunch of people that have already set up camp outside.
But we're not hardly hearing anything about it. You know, that was something silly.
The mainstream media isn't. There are like 200,000 people booked to be there today, though.
And the rainforest burning, where'd that go? Where'd that?
It's still happening.
Why aren't we talking about that anymore? It's because human attention span is so short. So here's, if you guys want to know the actual like the neuroscience behind it, I'll summarize it very quickly. Your brain, your anterior cingulate cortex is going to send a prediction error signal based on anything that is shocking when a pattern occurs that your brain didn't predict. The same happens if you touch a hot stove or stick your finger in an electrical outlet. And though you may not, you know, remember the specific instance of you putting your hand on a hot stove, you will forever remember that stoves are hot, because what your brain did was it created a new pattern so that you would not do that negative thing again, right? So when it comes to things that we see on social media, our brain still responds in this very primitive way, where what it wants to do is send a shock wave to your cortex so that you can avoid whatever it is that's hurting you. And because social media isn't hurting you, it's not harming you, you're still getting that outrage, you're still getting that shock factor, you're still getting those prediction error signals where something just feels so outrageous to the point where you want to do something about it. But because, you know, humans tend to, it's easier to feel like you're doing something by clicking share than it is to say, okay, the Amazon rainforest is burning down, let's get online and Google an organization that we can donate to. Does that make sense? Another, like, what if I told you right now, you guys know red wolves, right? Like a red wolf. Everybody knows a red wolf. It's a species of wolf. Most people are familiar with red wolves. There are 35 red wolves left in the wild right now in the United States. 35. They live in a very small protected area. And if one of those wolves ventures out of that very small protective area, it is completely legal for that wolf to be shot. In the next few years, there will be 0 red wolves left in the wild. Are you guys going to go donate, though? Do you feel outraged? Because if you feel outraged, you need to go to the Wolf Conservation Center of South Salem, New York's website, and you need to make a donation like we do. But if that isn't triggering enough for you to make that donation, then...
Don't feel bad.
Exactly.
You have priorities. Everybody's got their own priorities. You can't just sit and, like, try to make a difference in everything that outrages you. You would be pulling your hair out trying to do that.
But my basic point here is that sharing things on social media is great. But if you're saying, wow, why isn't anybody doing anything about this, but you're also just sharing it and you're not doing anything about it,
you're not really accomplishing anything. Especially since the chances of anybody on your friends list or in your business actually contributing to that is pretty low. Especially since hardly anybody's going to see it because of the way the Facebook algorithm works.
We donate to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. We donate to the Planetary Society. We donate to the Wolf Conservation Center of South Salem, New York. And he just donated towards
$250 to Next, which is an autism awareness and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So but it's one of those things where those are causes that we feel strongly about.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel strongly about a cause, contribute some of your business money that you've made towards it. Make your, do something. Just do something about it. That's like the main point here is do something. If you're so outraged about something, like do something about it. So, all right.
Do you have a video on how to begin an email list?
I do not, but Renee Christine does. Just go into YouTube search and type in Renee Christine MailChimp, and she has a walkthrough. The reason I don't is because it's a lot of there's a lot when it comes to GDPR and the Can Spam Act, and I don't feel comfortable disclosing that information publicly on YouTube because there is so much and so many guidelines and so many people could take it out of context. So we keep that exclusive to Handmade Alpha Academy, where I have more capability to work one-on-one with students and make sure that they're actually creating their email list legally. But there are a lot of things that you can do wrong, and I don't want to be responsible for that if somebody ends up creating an email list and not doing it correctly based on the content that I publish on YouTube. So
what's the average order size for holiday gift orders? I want to do a tier sale. I'm not sure if I want to make the top tier 3 items or 4 items.
I don't think that there's a number.
No.
3 sounds like a nice number to me, but that's just my perspective. I don't think that there's a standard. I think that it's just kind of like your best guess, whatever you want to do.
Jerry said maybe if you didn't need a deadline because of it. I don't know. I don't think there would be a reason.
See, here's negativity.
Yeah, I think that's in relation to the medical condition. The thing is, if you're not able to meet a deadline because of a medical condition, you either A, are not in the right industry, that's not something that you should be doing, or B, you need to hire help. Like if you're at a point where you literally cannot do what you consider to be your job, like think of it like if you were working for a company. If you got injured to a point that you couldn't do your job, that employer is going to either put you in a different position or they're going to fire you. And you have to think about your business in that way too. Like you either need to scale your stuff in a way that you can hire help, or you need to not be doing as much as you are.
Or just don't post it on social media and reach out to that customer directly and say, hey,
yeah,
I'm really sorry.
That's a solution too.
I have like this illness and I wasn't able to ship your order in time. You don't have to post it on social media for everybody.
Most customers are going to be understanding, but at the same time, it's still something that you need to consider. If you cannot keep up with your launches, then how are you going to grow? How are you going to sell more to a point where you can afford to hire somebody else? If you can't even keep up with whatever you're at now, how are you going to keep up with it when it gets bigger?
Yeah.
So like that's something you're going
maybe, and that doesn't mean
talk to a medical professional. Is like, hey, I've got launches that I do every X number of months, and I need a way that even if it's just a temporary solution to the pain, what can I do in this time frame to get my work done? I have to get my work done. And they can give you, if it's a back problem, they can give you a steroid shot. If it's a skin problem, they can give you a steroidal cream. Like there's all different kinds of things that you can get from any medical condition.
Don't get married to one business idea. If you're making jewelry and it takes you forever to make jewelry and then your hands hurt because you're making jewelry and then you can't make jewelry for a few days, don't make jewelry. Do digital downloads. Do some type of pattern. I started out with tattoo designs and artwork, and then I started selling hemp jewelry. And then I started selling... what else did I sell? Oh, I sold painted animal skulls that I found, and then I sold, my key jewelry, and that's what eventually took off. Don't get married to an idea. If you find that you are not able to scale your business and you're not able to maintain, that level of work necessary, maybe you should just try to find a different product, and never get married to an idea, because if you're destined to be a business owner, then it's not the product itself that's holding you together. It is the business, the idea that you want to be an entrepreneur that is going to hold you together. So there's a million things that you can do.
Sarah, would you start Christmas marketing
Yes.
and making now?
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely start working on holiday stuff now. I won't be with my own business until November. But the reason that I don't do it until November is because the second that I launch, all of my products sell out. So it doesn't really matter for me because I don't need a lot of time to market. Unless you guys have a raving following that's going to buy everything that you have the second that you post it, you should start marketing now. Absolutely.
We got about 5 minutes left, so we're going to try to get through as many comments as we can. If you post something that shows growth or success, like being featured somewhere, how do you think our followers will feel about it? Do people get annoyed and think as if you're bragging?
No.
Usually no, as long as you don't word it in a way that it sounds braggy.
Always credit them. Say, because of you, I was able to do this. This is all because of you. Do you guys feel like so for example, I have a really, really like badass Dodge Challenger in a really cool gray color. It looks like a wolf.
I got it for her for our anniversary last year.
Yeah. So if I posted like a picture of my really cool car, would you guys be like, oh, Starla, she's bragging about her stuff. Starla is such a selfish person. Starla's gross. Like, would you guys think that? Or would you think, wow, she's a cool business owner. She did all this and she built this and she's got
most of you would think that way.
She got a pretty cool car. That's cool.
Now here's the thing. There's always going to be like that one asshole who's going to do it anyway. Be like, "Oh, you're bagging." And you know what we do? We delete them and we block them if we can, and we delete all the comments that they've made, and screw them. We don't want them in our business anyway.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're not worth your time.
They're not your target audience.
Now, obviously, make sure you're wording stuff in a way that's not like, haha, look at the new car I got. Like, don't brag on purpose and then get on people for saying that you're bragging. But
like, we have a really nice car, but
just be honest.
We have a really nice car, but we also live in a super tiny little house.
Yeah, so it's like whatever.
All right, let's see.
Comments. A lot of people. See, now I know that there's going to be a lot of shit in the comment section for this video. I know that that's going to happen.
The replay, especially since you've cursed probably more in this live stream.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm emotional about this stuff. Holy crap, what are you people even talking about?
We don't even know what the discussion is.
Yeah, the discussion in the chat is like something totally off the wall. Talking about Area 52. What is going on here? We
got psychology.
I'm looking for just like, I'm not even reading them. I'm just looking for question marks. So I'm sorry if I missed your question, but there's way too many comments for me to.
Ooh, I started selling shirts on Etsy where I donated $10 per shirt to Dorian Relief Fund. Raised $8K so far.
Sick.
Awesome.
Let's see. Treat social media as if you're walking into a room full of strangers. Would you walk in and immediately start talking smack or complaining? Well, that's
Yeah.
That's me.
No.
But you'd be left standing pretty fast. Yeah, no.
What we got? Any more
good questions that I can just... Okay, question.
Okay, cool. I love that.
Thanks for putting that.
Question! That's great. You guys should do that.
No, don't do that, because then everybody will have it.
Question!
Can you give an example of how you use Renee Christine's collection formula? 532. What neutral keys look like for you?
Okay, so when it comes to her product line formula, you don't need to consider neutrals to be like... You don't have to do like white or cream as like a neutral. For me, a neutral might be a key that doesn't have like a big massive dragon on it. Or, maybe actually, to be quite honest, my neutrals pretty much are the keys that have big dragons on them because those are like my general. The whole neutral thing is going to depend per industry, depending on, what product you're selling. Don't get so caught up on the neutrals and things like that because it doesn't fit for every industry. My neutrals are usually smaller keys. They're not the big giant like full chest pieces. They're just small little dainty keys. And I consider those my neutrals, but they might have wolves and dragons and all kinds of crazy stuff on them. So just depending on your specific industry, a neutral might just be something that's not as crazy as, your craziest item. I hope that makes sense. And if you guys want to get Renee's product line training, which is free and it's very useful and it's the same formula that we use for my own Etsy business, go to alphasugar.com and you can sign up for that and you'll get a bunch of freebies from Renee Christine, who is a very good friend of mine. So alphasugar.com if you want those freebies.
And I had one more comment because after this we'll probably bounce off. YB Normal said, "Don't worry about the haters; they're just jealous." Now, if at some point down the line you are going to get somebody who's being negative in something that you post, and this is another one of the things we see this in like comment section, we see it in the alpha group every once in a while. Don't retort to like super negative, hateful comments. There's two ways that you, especially in your own personal groups, there's two ways that you can handle that kind of situation. A, you can use that as a chance to educate the person. If it's something that you can reply to in a way that kind of puts them in their place, but isn't just a slam piece against who they are and what they're doing. If it's a way for you to correct them, take it that way, or you delete it. You should never attack somebody when it comes to your business stuff. If they say something negative, use it as a way to educate the rest of your customers and them, or delete the comment. Or if they look stupid enough, sometimes you can just leave it.
Yeah, we get a lot of negative comments where people kind of contrast like the things that I teach here on YouTube, and I'm always like, hey, I appreciate your comment.
Yeah.
If you have a source that I could look at, I said everything that we talk about is based on our experiences and the experiences of our thousands and thousands of alphas and our over 400 students.
We don't post a lot of opinion pieces.
Right. This is all based on our experiences. If you have a contrasting opinion that you can source, I would love to see it.
Let me have it.
And most of the time, they never reply.
No. It's just people looking for negativity. And that's one of the things that we were talking about earlier. A lot of the comments that we get on the videos, the negative comments, they aren't actually about anything that are said or done or happening in the video. They literally pick something. It's usually something visual to pull out and make a bad comment about it. They came into the situation looking for something negative to post. And it's the same thing is going to happen to your business. And eventually, if you have a Facebook group, if you have a YouTube channel, if you have a blog, it's gonna happen. Somebody's gonna go into your content, whether they're doing it for fun, because yes, people do that. I do it on Facebook to some people because it's hilarious how mad they get. People do this crap for fun. Whether they just don't like you, I mean, that happens every once in a while. Somebody will come and they'll see your face and be like, I don't like this person. I'm gonna comment.
And they do that to him all the time.
Yeah, I get that all the time. Like people comment, they'll probably, especially with this as kind of personal as this video is, I'll probably get a little bit of hate for how like open and honest I was being, just because I'm being open and honest.
For cursing.
And for cursing.
And for being you, and for having a beard, and
whatever. I don't care. But just ignore them. Simple as that. If you can't ignore them, if you have to retort, do it in a way that makes them look like the bad person, and you're educating the crowd and you're not just attacking them. Attacking is never the solution.
Here's my view on it. Like, we post these videos and we are here every Friday, and we're doing a new video series every Tuesday for the holidays. You can watch the first video on my channel now. But we do this, and we're not getting paid to be here every Friday for 2 hours or for an hour.
Not really.
We're not getting, anything for hanging out every Friday. We don't have to be here.
And the little bit of ad revenue that we have goes back into making sure this works, like buying lights or replacing the microphone that is broke.
Right.
Like, it's all going back into this. None of that goes into our pocket.
We don't have to do this. We don't have to be here. We're here because we want to be. So when people kind of like pop on our videos and tell us like how everything that we're doing is wrong and how, what pieces of crap we are for creating videos the way that we do.
Our levels of experience make you a liar right off the bat.
It's like, why are you watching? If you don't like it, that's okay. There are billions of videos on YouTube that you could watch instead.
Go watch a Joe Rogan podcast.
You don't have to watch us. We don't care if you don't watch us. It's all right. We're not mad at you if you don't like us. I probably don't like you. So that's my little...
But we like all of you. Or most of you.
Yeah.
Not you, though.
Yeah, you right.
I don't like you.
You know
who you are.
You know who you are.
I don't like you at all.
We don't... But everybody else, you, though, we love. We love you. We love you.
And make sure that you subscribe. Hit that little button. If it's gray, don't click it again. It'll unsubscribe you. Hit that little bell icon if there's not a little check mark next to it. That way you get notified when we get all of our videos. Go into your settings and make sure that it's sending you phone notifications every time we go live, every time we upload a video. We'll be there. in your feed.
And make sure that if you are in the Pittsburgh area, you come see us at Bitchcraft Fair. This is a family-friendly event, though there will be alcohol. The children,
Alcohol.
a little bit of alcohol.
I will be drinking it.
I'm going to have a drink with my alphas. Yes.
We just got demonetized.
You cursed. We probably get demonetized anyway.
Yeah, it's all good.
But to make sure that you come see us at Bitchcraft Fair, you can get your tickets at bitchcraftfair.com. You can come in costume if you want. Your kids can come in costume. There will be trick-or-treating. There will be workshops. There will be workshops for the children. I will be doing a workshop there with our alphas. We'll be doing an in-person Q&A. You can come get selfies with me and hang out with me. And we are giving away 2 scholarships to Handmade Alpha Academy valued at $2,000 each. And we might be doing a limited opening of HAA for people who attend, and you have to be there. But that's only if you're there. Otherwise, you have to wait till December. But we might be opening it for people who took the effort to drive all the way to Pittsburgh to see us. So,
more of the story for today. Spread the love, not the hate.
Spread the love, guys. I want to see lots of love. Join the Handmade Alpha Facebook community down below. Spread some love. Comment on each other's stuff. Don't just go into the group and post your questions. Go in and answer questions and show love to each other and put little hearts and say congrats on posts where people are bragging about their accomplishments. So have a great day, guys, and we will see you. Oh, new video coming on Tuesday. Yeah, and we'll see all of our other alphas on Sunday. We love you.
Bye-bye.
Don't hate us in the comments in the replay.
They will.
I know they will, but that's okay. Goodbye. We love you.